Gadget Man 404 here, and this video is going to be about my thoughts and your thoughts with comments on the new tax, basically the new drone legislation registration. It's a tax on a hobby. I've heard a lot of people's take on this, and I've waited to gather some information from what other people that are more experienced in this hobby than myself, understanding the legality side of it as well, and then I've got my own opinions of what I think, how it can go forward. Now, the government are the government in the UK, and no matter what they let you know about a consultation, they will do it. So there is no consultation really. It doesn't happen very often when the government actually give you some subject to have a think about, and then with however many people disagree with it, and then the government go with the consensus that okay, there's 20,000 people don't agree with it, so we won't do it. The government are going to do it no matter however many times we fill out this survey. There's a survey, isn't there, from the CAA asking you to put your views. Now, I did the original one like back last year, and now it's come to this point where they haven't really listened to what we said. Now they're saying, now you've got to tell us again. So I do sort of think to myself, well, what is the point of doing it all again? But I will, and I'm sort of in two minds, because I've made a video about this when the legislation was to come in, and it's going to be the 30th of November 2019, and they talked about the test and a little competency of what to do in this situation. That isn't a bad idea. That isn't a bad idea. But what they need to do is they need to do education. They need to put some sort of program in place where people will, you can do like everything, like a theory test. You know, when you're taking driving lessons and you have to do a theory test and then you do your driving test. And maybe there should be something in place now, not waiting until November. So people that are just getting into the hobby and want to continue flying in November, we could be doing mock tests of the test, basically. Is there an app out there? People, please drop me comments. Is there an app that you can do like a little test on? I think there was something for the DJI, because I believe iCopter, he got his daughter doing it, so maybe there is already something out there, but that was for DJI. I suppose the questions are going to be very similar. It doesn't matter what drone you're flying, it's just knowing the laws of how close to people you need to be and all that kind of thing. So there's something you can look into. That's something that I would like to look into myself. I would like to do little mock tests now, because I don't want to fail, and I don't think it's going to be I don't know, because no one knows what kind of questions. I know they're going to ask you about height restrictions and no-fly zones and that kind of thing. Where I go flying mainly is over big fields, water, so lakes, little ponds. I like to tilt my camera down as I'm flying over structures, but the structures that I'm flying over, there is no one around them. Now, one of the rules is you can't fly within 150 meters of a structure you have no control over. You can't control a house. I can't control an iron bridge. So, in theory, am I not allowed to fly over that? Because it says you're not allowed to fly within 150 meters of objects you have no control over. Cars, people, buildings. Now, a building cannot move. A car can move. People can move. So, your drone is going out of control. Someone's walking in a field. By the time it does whatever, they could walk underneath the drone, and the drone could come down and it could hit them. That is very, very rare sort of circumstances, and I don't think that that's ever happened ever, but there's a possibility. A car might be half a mile away, you're flying over a field, there's a little country lane, you're just hovering there, car comes down the country lane, your drone comes down. You can't control the car is out of shot, the car is over 400 metres away when you take off, but then the car gets close to you. So if you see that car, are you supposed to move 150 metres away from that vehicle and those people? They say you shouldn't take off within so many feet of people, but if you're in a club, you are literally 2 feet away from the person next to you and you take off and you're all on the flight line. So that rule does not make sense in itself, and I believe that's like a club rule, a CAA rule, that you can't take off near people, but when you go flying you're with people, and you all do it, every single one of you and me. We go out with 2 or 3 of us and we're standing quite close together, and I'll take off my drone and he takes off his drone and he takes it, you know. But in the rules, are you supposed to do that? You know, basically, no, I don't think you are supposed to do that, but we all are guilty of it. You know, we all do that kind of thing. So there's another, you know, option of you shouldn't do this, but we all do it. So going back to the purpose of this video is the legislation, the cost of this legislation. Now, someone is saying that infrastructure isn't going to cost millions of pounds like they're saying it's going to cost. Lots of companies are going to be putting in quotes to say, oh, we can design this software and it's going to cost you 2 million, 2.5 million or whatever. The legislation that we're having to pay, I believe it's a yearly tax as well. You know, so £60.50. I pay to ride my motorbike, which I need for my job. I pay, I think it's £18 a year tax to stay on the road, to drive. And I use that motorbike 5 to 6 days a week. And that is a year. And this tax is going to be £16.50 a year. So I'm paying a little bit less than my road tax, but my vehicle is being used on the road. No one is maintaining the airspace because the airspace is there. You know, no, the government aren't coming and cleaning the clouds or cleaning the air because it's just there. No one owns it. You know, how can they charge you for something that is here naturally? It's like that film, Total Recall, yeah? And they charge you for air. That in a way is what they're doing. They're charging us to use the airspace. That's what they are doing. They're charging us to use the air that has been here since when the earth was formed. Since time began, this atmosphere has always been here. And no one owned it, because no one has built it. God built this place, big explosion, and then a solid matter just appeared with water and mountains and all that kind of thing. I don't know how, if you believe how we started, and we were little tadpoles and we grew legs and we walked out of the ponds, and then we started to breathe oxygen and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's how we were formed and how life began. So something that started all that time ago, right, since dinosaurs, you know, that's when it all started, sort of thing. No one was charging Adam and Eve to breathe, but in that film they charge you for breathing air, and if you don't breathe the air or you don't pay the tax, you die, basically, right? So basically, we're not going to die if we don't fly, but I would be annoyed that I can't fly. Like today, I've tried to take my bebop out, one of my motors is gone, I've tried to swap it round, it still showed me that that error is on that front right leg. Somebody thought it was the outer casing for the motor, so I decided to take it off and fit it on the left rear motor, because those two motors are the ones that spin the same direction. Those two are one way, those two, so I thought, get that motor, swap it round. If it's got a bent shaft, the error message should be showing at the rear left. It doesn't, it's still showing as a front right, so it's the motor, so I need to get a new motor for the Bebop. But I digress, and that is another subject. So I am a bit annoyed that I can't go flying today. It's a beautiful day, it's not too windy, but out of the 3 drones I've got, I will only get so much video footage out of one. Another one can't carry a camera, and my other one, my Bebop doesn't fly. So the only one I've got to use at the minute is my Tello, and I'll probably do a video just flying in the garden to show you guys just how stable this is and what kind of footage you can get with this little drone, because it's amazing. Check out my channel, GadgetMan404. Subscribe to me down here, down there. Hit the notification. Sorry, iCopter, I'm copying you. Do all the above and follow me. I do fly Phantoms, I do fly Bebops and also Tellos. And my brother's Anafi has just arrived today from Switzerland, and or Austria, and I'm gutted that he's got a real cool drone, but he'll be playing with it for days before he actually goes flying. So that's another story again. So, as I was saying, I digress. They're charging for airspace. The government don't own this air above my house. They don't own the air above the fields. No one owns that space. There's no airports near me. So why should I have to pay to fly my drone? Like, do they charge people to walk their dogs? People take their dogs for a walk and they shit all over the field, and I walk in their shit, basically. Are they being charged? People say, oh, don't foul and you'll get penalties, but you don't know who did that poo unless you see the dog do the poo and the person didn't pick it up. But are you going to go up to the person, take a picture of them and send it to your council and say this person dog did a poo on the floor and they didn't pick it up? Fine them? No, because no one's going to do that. So why am I going to be charged for doing a hobby? It's a hobby. It's not my job. I don't earn money from this. These videos don't earn me any money. It earns me subscribers. I'm just over 500. So, and I've been doing it for 5 odd years. I'm never going to make a job from this. This is not my job. I'm a carer in the community, and I travel around on my motorbike. That I pay £18 or £19 tax to drive that bike on our roads, and yet I will be paying just under that to fly a toy drone. It's a toy. They're charging me to fly a toy. They're charging all of us money to fly a toy. Even people that have got their the PFCO or the PCO or whatever it's called, those people are still going to have to pay this tax thing. And they paid over £1,000 to become a pilot to make money from their drone, because they're professionals. They're doing movie shoots and catalogue photos and all that kind of stuff. They're making money from their hobby, which is fantastic. I haven't got a problem with that at all. My problem, sorry, I think you've seen that spit there. My problem is the fact that I'm being charged. Like, there's a bird flying. That bird isn't being charged to fly, and that bird will fly over and around airfields. That's why they have these big sirens there, to scare them away, but not always. They do still land in and around the airport. That bird isn't being charged to fly, but I'm being charged to fly, because the government can charge me. The government can't charge a bird. So that's why I'm having to pay, and that's why you guys are going to have to pay. The government are making money out of our hobby, and I do think in one of the rules and the regulations that it states we should be allowed to have leisure time to do what we want with our families, and we should not be charged for it. It's one of the human rights, I believe. XJet brought it up in his video. We signed up to that treaty in 1945, I think he mentioned, and I don't know which paragraph it is, but go to XJet, it's in his video, and he tells you exactly which paragraph, and you can look it up. So when you write and lobby your MPs, you can bring that into it and say, well, it's a human right that you guys have signed up for, and now you're charging us for something that you couldn't. Why haven't you charged us for it before? Drones have been out for 10 years or more, and they haven't charged people then. So why all of a sudden are they charging us now? There's the point. Why are they charging us now? Why haven't they charged us before? That is a really good point, and that just entered my head. Drones have been out for a few years now, and they've never charged us for it. And all of a sudden, they're now trying to charge us for it. Because they've cottoned on to, there's a few thousand people in Britain that fly drones, and that's money. You know, £16.50 times 20,000 every year, that is a lot of money that we shouldn't be paying anyway. They're doing the testing and registering the drones, fine. I ain't got a problem with that, because that is trying to educate people and everything else. So that's a very good point, that's a good idea, and I totally agree with that. You're still going to get, as I've said in the past, the rogue element, the idiot element. The people that aren't going to register, they're not going to do the test, they're still going to do flying where they shouldn't fly. And you cannot rule that out, no matter what you do. Making us pay to sit an exam and all that, fine. But those people that are doing these bad things, they're still going to do them, and they're not going to pay the tax, and they're not going to sit the exam, and they're not going to register the drones. So unless you get the drone police involved, now you're giving powers to the police so they can seize your drone and they can seize your equipment, i.e. your SD card, things like that. But really, how is that going to be enforced? You know, a piece of paper with a number on it, it should be maybe be better if it was like a tag, like a pet, you know, and you scan over it and it brings up your address. That policeman will have to go to some website and then enter that number, and then my information will come up. Hopefully, you know, because I am going to register. I don't want to break any rules, but I don't agree with all of a sudden we are now paying tax to fly our quadcopters, our planes, our helicopters. Anything that flies, I think you're going to have to pay. Or is this only for drones? Is it for planes? Is it for helicopters? Because I think certain clubs were thinking they had some exemption from this law that's going to be passed. And I don't think, according to XJet, again, I think he mentions that they've been led up the garden path and they haven't got their members will not have the exemptions what they were thinking. So they've been working with the government to get this passed and to tell them what they need to do to get it passed, thinking that their members would be exempt from it. Like, there's a rule, isn't there, if you pass your driving test before 1940 something, called the granddad's license, you don't have to do your test again, ever. And you never had to do a proper driving test in the first place. Your driving test was you was in the army, and the guy and your sergeant major whatever would say, right, you've got to deliver this parcel or this goods to Kent, 150 miles away. If you can drive there and you don't hit anyone, you don't kill anyone, and you get back in one piece and no damage to the car, we'll pass you on your driving test. And then those kind of people never sat a real driving test. They were exempt from it. And I think some members, some flying clubs, have got exemptions from certain rules. But I don't think, and I might be wrong, so drop me a comment if I'm wrong, but I think I'm going on what XJet said, if I recall what he said, and he basically has said that the members of the clubs aren't going to be exempt from this law that's coming in. So what do you guys think about this? Would you like the new t-shirt? I have too many gadgets, so no one ever. That's me. I love my gadgets. I'm filming this with a GoPro Hero 3 with a Vilban or a Valban EF44 tripod. I'm in my garden. Normally I'm always in the house, but I thought it's a lovely day, sun shining down on me, do a video in the garden. It's a long video, so if you're not watching it, but you know, but I think it's a relevant video in the climate of the hobby, and it's not a sport. I don't look at this as a sport. Some people that say it's a sport, you've got to be skilled to fly a drone. That's another subject, and I'm not touching on that. This video is nothing to do with racing drones and all that kind of stuff. This is just for people that want to make nice videos, like yourselves, like myself, and we're being sort of punished for it, and they're going to make money out of us for doing what we're doing, until and unless we all speak out and say, no, you're not doing it. I think there's only one time the government backed down, and that was at some petrol strikes many years ago, about 20 years ago, and they backed down, and then they knocked the price of the fuel back to a normal price. That's, I think, the only thing the government have ever backed down from. Their fracking thing, they just moved it somewhere else, so they didn't stop doing it, they just stopped doing it in Blackpool or wherever it was, and then they just move it somewhere else. But please, I want you guys to have your say. Drop me comments, leave me messages. Sometimes with YouTube, I don't get the notifications of your comments when you make them. It could be a few days or next week. Don't know why, just things with YouTube, it's not working all the time. So don't think I'm being ignorant and I'm not replying to you guys. I haven't had the update straight away. I subscribe to lots of channels and I don't get notifications every day. When I see something, the date is like 2 or 3 days ago when it was posted, but I got it today. So mine, I don't know if it's my phone or something with YouTube, because YouTube has changed. The menu's slightly changed, and I don't know if that's sort of put the sync, everything's out of sync a little bit, but that's, you know, that's YouTube, and there's something coming through on my phone now. So anyway, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. Do you think we should pay the tax? Do you think we should register our drones? Have your say. Fill out the survey that they're asking you to do. Lobby your MP. Get in touch with local papers if they're interested. It's a story, they might run with it, you never know. Until we try it, we never know what they're going to do or what we can do to stop them doing it. So have your say, and that's it really. So continue to subscribe. Thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate your views, I appreciate comments, and I just appreciate in general that when I started this flying business 7 years ago, or 6 years ago this year, I didn't think I'd get 600 subscribers or 500, you know, I just did it for something that I was into, and I was showing you guys, as now, how to do things, how to do certain modes with the Tello, how to do cool shots with the Phantom, how to do nice videos with the Bebop. You know, I just do it because this is how I learn, by doing it, and if I learn something that can help you guys, I pass it on. I'm not going to charge you like some people say, oh, be a Patreon and we'll give you more info. No, this information is free, it's out there, it's on the internet, it's everywhere. I'm not going to charge you to get this information. You can click on my videos and watch it and listen to me talking, that's up to you. If you don't like what I'm saying, that's up to you as well. But give your say of what you think of what is going to be happening later this year. And it's going to be, we have to be registered by, not on, I think by the 30th of November this year. But as yet, you cannot register anywhere. Don't go for these scam links. They say, oh, you register with us and blah, blah, blah. They don't work for the government. So it's a scam. You pay your money, they're going to run off with it. You ain't going to get no registration documents because it's not even been out yet, and you're not going to get your money back. So don't do it. Don't do it. Just wait for their official website to get launched by the government. I think the transport people are going to be doing it, and take from there. So I'm Gadget Man 404. You guys have been awesome, and I will catch you in the next one. Gadget Man 404 out.